Good evening, Glitter Gang. Happy Thursday. This is Kathryn Scraps Live. This is Christmas in July. We're going to be doing stuff to the envelopes, the pouch-a-lopes. So where we are in our progress is we've made the pouch-a-lopes. We lined the pouches. We put an insert in there. We created closures for the backs. We decorated the back flap, and I added photos to the insides of these. So what's left to do is to add the photo mat that covers the brad that's part of the closure. Maybe put some pattern paper here. And then and put pattern paper here and here and maybe something there. So there's still a lot to do. So the first thing I'm going to do to make this go a little bit easier is I want to cut a piece of cardstock to kind of act as where this goes. Actually, let's think. This is 8 5/8. This is 6 1/4. It's not really that big now, is it? Thank you, Patty. Thank you. I'm glad you love the waiting room music. I like the waiting room because then I don't it's like a place to chill, you know? All right, so we've got the fraction calculator. 8 5/8. This is going to be a 16th, isn't it? Minus 6 1/4 is 2 3/8, but we've got to divide that by 2. 1 3/16. I knew it. Oh, I knew it. All right, I'm going to cut it with this. Okay, so that's 1 1, 2, 3. Okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put a piece of tape over the brad. We're going to peel the tape from the photo mat, which is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, or technically 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then we're going to use this piece that's 1 3/16. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line the 1 3/16 inch piece up with the edge. And then we'll use it as a spacer. And we'll put this down. See, does that look even to you? Does not. So, oh, it's 7/8. It's 7/8. That's the problem. The pattern paper is 5/8, but the piece itself is 7/8. Just come up. Thank you. Okay, so this is useless. So it's going to be 5/16. 5/16. No, not 5/16. Let me just do the math again because I don't even know. I don't even know. So it's 8 7. Yeah. 8 7/8 minus 6 1/4. No, what happened? Oh, I see. Plus, let's just add that second 6 1/4 back, divided by 2. 1 5/16. I was actually right. Okay. All right. So 5/16 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 16th after a quarter. let's try that again. Fun. Okay, that looks normal. Okay. Let's just quickly do all of those so that they're just so that they're just done. All right, so this is Christmas in July. This is the POUCH-A-LOPE album. This entire album is available for free on YouTube. All of the measurements are given in the YouTube videos. All you have to do is take notes, and you can make this yourself. A box will be coming. It's using the Marion Bright collection from Paper Phenomenon, which I believe is still available physically, but if not, it is available digitally. So if you want to make it exactly the same way I'm making it, you can. All right. Well, I don't blame you, Brissy gal. There's no time that I can do a show that everyone can come. So that's why I have the one in but that's why I have the two that start 7 hours apart, because at least that gives you a chance most places, I think. So, but yeah. So what we're doing in this episode is I'm going to be putting these photo mats in here to complete the photo mats, which I've already done. The two that are normal. And then we'll just keep chugging along. So, still to do is we have to do all the matting for the inside of the envelopes. And we have to do the decorating for the outside of the envelopes. And then we have to make the box because they need something to go in. So I feel like Christmas in July is gonna be Christmas in August. I don't see myself getting that all finished tonight. I don't see myself doing it, because I'm not that fast of a crafter, I don't think, so. We did start it in July, at least. There we go. We had some Christmas in July. It happened. This is a great red cardstock. I really like it. It's a nice Christmas red. We got most of it done in July. We got the POUCH-A-LOPEs designed and made in July, and they'll probably be pretty close to matted. So, and you know where the photos go. So honestly, there's a lot that got done. POUCH-A-LOPEs. POUCH-A-LOPEs are cute. So after dinner, Mr. Lifeguard and I watched the first 2 episodes of The Politicians. Oh my gosh, what a wild ride. Wow. It's the high school students running for class president. A lot happened in the first 2 episodes. It was very dramatic, and we thought it was so funny that they did such a good job with the writing, where the high school, yeah, it's on Netflix, and these high school students are trying to get their friend elected class president, and because he wants to be president of the United States. He's wanted to be president of the United States since he was 7. And all he does is read autobiographies of presidents to see how they got elected so he can figure out what works. And so he knows he has to be class president, and he knows he has to go to Harvard. So he's trying to accomplish both those things. And there's this way that they all act like this hyper successful, hyper driven, their parents have always pushed them to achieve, and they're like, baby Rahm Emanuel, and, advising the guy running for class president on how to use situations in the school. But then they also, some of the things that they think of to do are such high school kid things to think of to do, and they're so melodramatic about some things in the way that teenagers have a lot of emotions that they're working through and everything. So it's actually, the writing's really good because they don't seem like they're on the West Wing, they seem like they're high school students. So it's interesting. It's a lot of serious stuff happens too, but it is a comedy. I guess I would say it's a dark comedy, because some very serious things do happen. The other thing that happened after the show is I broke a nail. Look at it. Aww. But I have another pack of those decorated nails that I ordered. So maybe I'll put those on before next week so that we won't notice that we're down one. Thank you, Brissy Gal. I also found a quote for those of you who think I was too hard on Lock Every Door. So I'll read it to you after I get done putting all these photo mats in their books. You broke your left middle. This one? Are you left-handed? I almost never break nails on my left hand. my right hand. And these are the two that I'm always breaking on my right hand, which makes sense because those are the two I use the most because I'm right-handed. Donna, you got to stop flipping people off. Kitty! Kitty's crying downstairs. She's being very sad. She is probably hungry. That's definitely it. She also doesn't like to be alone. If she thinks she's been abandoned, you know, so like if she can't see anyone, then she gets upset. She doesn't like it. Her diet's still going. I mean, at this rate, it's going to take a long time. I mean, we kind of knew that. But she lost an ounce last week. She should lose, you know, no more than 2 ounces a week. So that's what we aim for, but we're not always perfect. About making sure she doesn't eat any of Tiny Cat's food. I mean, Tiny Cat defends her food pretty well if Kitty tries to go for it. But, you know, if they don't finish their meals and then they wander off and then they come back later and no one's around, you know, technically Kitty could have a few bites of Tiny Cat's food. So, but Tiny Cat is not losing weight. So it's like, well, all right, you know, you're not eating so much of Tiny Cat's food that it matters. So, and Kitty is losing weight. So we've decided not to lock them in closets and make them finish all their food in one sitting. Last one. They do have feeding times, and because their calories are restricted, they eat most of their food when it gets put out, but they do leave themselves a few bites to have a snack later. It's like they don't trust us to feed them. Can you believe it? Tiny needs all her calories to make her silent cries. That's why they're so quiet. All right, look at that. We did it. So the hard part, or well, maybe not the hard part so much as the annoying part, is done, which is getting that in exactly the right spot. So those have all been placed. So now we've got 3 photos on the inside. And let me get some water. Oh, my goodness. All right. What is next? What is next? So, what still we need is, first we have to decide if we want to put pattern paper here. Or if we just want to have pattern paper like here and right here. And leave these flaps cardstock so that they, should we vote? Okay. So the question is, are we going to put pattern paper on these or not? Let me see if I have any scraps that I can stick on there so you get an idea. Here we go. All right, so we'll say with the paper is 1. So this is 1. That's 1. And then without the paper is 2. So that's 2. So 1, 2. 1, 2. All right. Okay, so now we're going to figure out what's going to go here. And I'm thinking maybe just like a 1-inch strip. 1-inch strip is going to be exactly right. So, well, it's 1 inch if you want 1/8 of an inch between the cardstock and the pattern paper, and 1/8 of an inch between the pattern paper and the edge. It would be 1 1/8 if you, I'm not trying, okay, let's not make too many decisions at once. All right, I'm going to call it for 2 because 2 is overwhelming 1 in the voting. So we're going to leave these just cardstock, and I think that's right because that keeps it from being too busy because there's going to be pattern paper here, there's going to be pattern paper here, so we'll just give our eyes a little resting space right here. And by not covering it in pattern paper, it'll still look kind of more envelope-y, I think. It helps it keep its envelope vibes when it's in this position. So I think 2 is right. So now the next question is, essentially, what we're trying to decide is, do we put the pattern paper right next to this piece, or do we leave 1/8 of an inch in between? Oh, well, I think it looks, so let's say this is 3 and this is 4. So 3 is no space, and 4 is we leave 1/8 of an inch. So 3, so there would be, it would be right next to the photo mat, but there would be a gap here on the edge. And then 4 would be, we leave 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so 4 is overwhelming 3. You guys are very decisive tonight. Very decisive glitter gang moment. All right, so we're going to leave this blank. We're going to put 1/8 of an inch in between the photo mat and the pattern paper, which means our pattern paper, easy, 1 inch by 4 1/4 inches. Easy peasy. And we have quite a few scraps that are probably going to work. Because a bunch of the scraps we cut earlier today were 4 1/4. Okay, so those are all the 4 1/4 inch scraps. So we'll just get the, I'll just bring over the Fiskars trimmer, and we'll just use it so we can go a little quicker. I'll probably glue these down as well, just so I can go really fast. Okay, all right, so I think the first step will be to pick whatever this is going to be so that it coordinates with this. And then based on that, we'll then come down and we'll choose these. So we have our pile of scraps that are that size, and now we need our pile of scraps that are this size. Because we've used a lot of paper, but we haven't used a lot of super big pieces. All right, so, and I already just, that one jumped right out at me, so I'm gonna cut this one. Whew, it's hot in my room tonight. So we'll put that piece there. And then we need something to go there. Okay, I think we'll go with this. All right. So we'll cut it down to 4 1/4. And then we'll cut 2 1-inch pieces. All right. So I'm going to use the 3/8 inch angler to angle these bottom pieces. And then we will just do the same on these top pieces. And then we'll ink everyone and glue it down. And then we'll just do that 12 more times, or 11 more times. Why? Why past Kathryn? Why? Why 12? Oh well, it is what it is. It's fine, because it means that the box will be sized for 12, so that this will work for 12 days of Christmas, or 12 years of school, or 12 months of a baby's first year, or whatever. So there'll be plenty of options. That's the 3/8 inch rounder from We Are Memory Keepers. Don't try to escape, you punk. $12 is usually the number picked. It's, no, I don't think so. I've had it for quite a while. Becky Higgins made it because when she first started working with We Are Memory Keepers, they brought it out because that was the rounder that the Project Life Cards manufacturer used. That's how old it is. That's pretty old. Oh, this is too tall. It's got to be, oh, no, it's not. It goes there. Oh my gosh. Well, my brains are working just right tonight. Good job, brains. Always love it when you're firing on all cylinders. Does she still do Project Life? I imagine she does. I don't know why she wouldn't. And there we go. Done. All right, so now we can have the full dramatic effect. So let's see. So when we open them, ooh, ah, how beautiful. Yay. Okay, so they worked out. They look cute. One down. 11 to go. Did I have something good to eat for dinner? I just had steamed rice and I had sort of like a Hawaiian style chicken thigh with some teriyaki and pineapple. It was good. Okay. Oh, I said I would read you the thing. Okay. So this review of Lock Every Door gave should you read it or skip it? And this is what they said. If you like mystery thrillers, Lock Every Door is a well-constructed and exciting read. I agree. The writing is above average for a thriller and the plot fits together nicely. I also agree with that. So I gave it 3 stars. There is a ridiculous aspect to the plot, so if you have a low tolerance for unlikely events, then maybe this one will be a pass for you. I feel attacked by this review because I do have a low tolerance for unlikely events and ridiculous plots, I guess. That's what this reveals. It said, otherwise, you'll think it's a fun and enjoyable thriller. It will go by quickly and provide a few hours of entertainment. So, there you have it. As long as you don't have a low tolerance for ridiculous plots and unlikely events, you'll enjoy the book. Thanks, reviewer from the internet. Okay, so we've got that stripe there, so we're going to open it up. Let's try to grab that holiday tradition right there. That'll be cute. 3 1/4 by 8 5/8 for the one on the top. Kitty! Kitty's still crying at the bottom of the stairs. I mean, she's not the smartest, you know. She's not the smartest. What do you think? Polka dots or stripes? Polka dots or stripes? Actually, no, you can't vote. It's going to be polka dots. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's polka dots. She doesn't want to climb the stairs. She wants someone to come downstairs and pet her. She's like, just come downstairs and pet me. I don't want to have to come up there. I already exercised today. I've had not enough snacks to climb the stairs anymore. All right. She says, no more. No more. She's weak. She's weak from hunger. That's what we always say when she goes and lies down in the middle of the kitchen floor and just stares at her bowls. And we're like, oh, she's exhausted. She barely made it. She barely made it. She's like dragging herself across the kitchen floor like, you know, some kind of cartoon in a desert or something. Okay, so the 3/8" corner chomper is going to be re-released in September per Joyce. So if you want it, that's going to come out. If you it makes a nice nest for if you do a 1/2 inch on the outside, then using the 3/8 inch on whatever you mat it with gives you an 1/8 of an inch around the curve as well. It's a small thing, but it's nice. It's nice to have. A cherry on top is where that information came from. Oh, you can pre-order at a cherry on top if you want to pre-order. So there you go. I also, on the break, looked into books with cats on the covers, and I found quite a few extremely well-respected classics and modern classics with cats on the covers, like The Master and Margarita, of course, and A Man Called Ove that we talked about this afternoon has a cat on it. Two other ones, but I can't remember what they are right now. So I think we can actually have quite a good reading month with the cats. Read some classics. All right. Look how cute. Look how cute. How cute are all these envelopes? Oh my gosh. The more pattern paper we add, the cuter they get. The cuter they get. Okay. All right, next envelope. All right, so we need something to go up here opposite our little birds. Let's go with the plaid. And then for the sides, let's finally use the stripe. Oh, no, let's not. Forget, but the stripe is never getting used. That's how funny. How funny. Okay. We use the green music notes. There we go. Cute, cute, cute. Okay. All right. Okay, 3 1/4 by 8 5/8. And we'll cut this down to 4 1/4. It just needs a little bit of a trim to be 4 1/4. And then we'll cut 2 1-inch strips. And chomp. We're getting in a routine. We're getting in a routine. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be just fine. All right, we'll get our festive berries and ink, everyone. Ink everywhere. everywhere. So, yeah, so we're going to do cats. I already have great books picked for cats, like really good books that I would be happy to read any of them. Of course, I forgot what they were, so it's like, how good are they? No, how bad is my memory? That's really what it is. And then August books are up for you to vote on in the Glitter Gang Facebook group, which is linked in the YouTube video description below. And those are all inspired by classics or retellings of classics, specifically Pride and Prejudice, Jane Eyre, and Moby Dick. And last time I checked, the one based on Pride and Prejudice was winning. So, but that could always change. That could always change. I have heard that baseball one is really good. The Art of Fielding, that's the Moby Dick one. I think the Moby Dick thing is what's scaring people. But I will say that I've mentioned many times that I don't care about sports ball. However, I do like baseball books. I think baseball lends itself to books very well, to books. There's certain sports that lend themselves better, you know, to being fictionalized. And I definitely think baseball is one of the best. It makes the best fiction. And I think the reason why is because with baseball, so much of the story is not what's actually happened, like what people find interesting about baseball or what the story of a season is not about what's happening like in any one individual game, because they play so many games, you know, and there's so many statistics and averages and stories built up around particular rivalries between teams, etc., etc. So I'm gonna like wear the crawdads sing. Oh, okay, cool. That's on my list, but there's always this long wait at my library, and I never, like, when I have hold spaces, I don't seem to think about it. So, and then when I think about it, I'm like, oh, whoops. So when I'm like, whoops, I don't have any hold spaces, so I'll get that sorted out. But yeah, so I think we're in good shape for 2 months. We're gonna have, well, I don't know. One of the one of the books could be bad this month. I don't know. I don't know anything. All right, so we need something to go here. It's kind of crafty. Exactly, Gretchen. You never have enough hold spaces because books take forever to come in, and then they all come in all at once. And you're like, give me a second to breathe. Should we do the stripe? Let's do the snowflakes. This one needs a little shave. And then yeah, let's use this one. wow. It's like I can either chit chat or I can be in the zone, you know? I just realized I didn't think I've been talking for a bit. But it, you know, when I'm not talking, you can just put, if you're watching the recording, you just speed it up. Just speed it up. Okay. Just sticking everybody down. And then once we've got everything covered in paper, we're going to go back through and add decorations from the embellishments in the collection. Because there's quite a few embellishments in the collection that we can add to the flaps and such. And this feels like it's going a little faster than this afternoon, but what do I know? Cute, 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 cute. Oops. You're watching last week's classes and want to jump into chat. I know. I do that too when I'm watching YouTube videos and the streamer is talking to the chat. I want to add my 2 cents. Yeah, gluing is faster than taping. It's true. All right, so here's this next page. Tiny Cat downstairs crying her head off. Cry, cry, cry. Glue gets everywhere. She's downstairs telling intern Liz how hard her life is. Oh, these cats have such hard lives. You don't understand. You don't understand. Our lives are so hard. We get fed 3 times a day. We get all the love and scratches we want. But sometimes I'm outside on the porch and I'm thinking I want someone to pet me and no one shows up to pet me. And so I'm going to cry about that. I'm going to cry about that. Yeah, they want attention when they want attention and not like when it's convenient for people. It's relative convenience for people is not their problem. All I know is that it's so hard to, oh, yes, I thought of one of the cat books. Sorry. It's this Japanese book. It's told from the point of view of a cat. It sounded amazing, and it has tons of really strong reviews. Like thousands and thousands of really strong reviews. So, yeah, I found all great. I can't think of what it's called right now. Something like The Neighborhood Cat. Something like, or The Traveling Cat. The Traveling Cat? Maybe? Something like that. I haven't read Kafka on the Shore. Yeah, there's so many books I want to read, but I can't read all of them as fast as I want to. It's very annoying. Okay. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Cats. Oh, hi! How are you? I heard all of your complaints. Come here. Come here. I know. It's so horrible. Just no one gets it. No one gets it. Or Priya, not Ella. Sorry. Tiny. But it's on my list. Tiny cat. Look at this sad little Tiny. Oh, they're ratting me out. They're saying Tiny cat. I just read a Haruki Murakami book this week. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, I did. It was really interesting. He said he wrote it when his mom died to help him process her dying. And what was so interesting about the book was, like, you could see it, once he said it, you could see it. When you were reading the book, that was not on your mind. But then, like, when you read the author's note and then looked back on what you just read, you were like, oh, yeah, okay, I see it. It was so interesting. But and The Strange Library is very short. You can read it in one sitting. It's like maybe 100 pages. And it's about this kid, and he's walking home from school, and he wonders how taxes were collected in the Ottoman Empire. And because it's 1986, he's got to go to the library. So, to look it up. It's called The Strange Library by Haruki Murakami. And so he goes to the library, and the library's very strange. But you could just read it in an afternoon and then just sit with it for a minute and think about it in the context of loss, and have just a nice afternoon, and just think about it. It's not complex, it's not hard to read. Some of Murakami's stuff can be a bit weird. Well, this is a bit weird, but it's not hard. Like it's not strenuous to read it. But yeah. Tiny cat, you got your fur all over it. all over. Tiny furs everywhere. Yeah, The Strange Library. And it's so short, I don't want to talk about the plot too much. Like I said, it's so short, you can just read it in an afternoon, so you don't really need to know the plot too much going in. It's weird. Just know that it's weird, and that it was about grief. All right, I'm gonna go. Oh, yes. How do you survive, huh? How do you survive in this dystopian hellscape? How? In this prison. This torture box, you know, where no one cares about you. It's so hard. So, all right. I think she can tell I'm making fun of her. So, I better stop or else I may lose a finger. I did. I already lost a nail today. That's true. I don't want to lose a finger. On top of everything. A furry album is not furry lips. Oh, that's the worst. All right, I'm going to go with this. Up here. And down here. Let's do polka dots. I haven't been watching Perry Mason on HBO. I'm just waiting for it to be done because I can't keep track of stuff week to week, you know. So just as soon as it's done, I'll be all on top of it. Because I am interested in it. It looks good. It's a new one from when he was younger, like a prequel. Right? He's young in it, right? I think, anyway. It's a little drawn out. Okay. Yeah, I just want to, watch it. Yeah, before he's a lawyer. That's what I thought. I thought it was like a prequel. Yeah, it looks good. I don't love the actor who's playing him, or at least I should say I haven't loved him in other stuff. But, that doesn't mean he won't be good in this. Just that he hasn't been my favorite before. I don't know. I can't think of his name. But he's been in other stuff. Other TV shows. As you know, I'm very judgmental. So, as we learned this afternoon. So. Is it Matthew Good or something like that? Goody? Something like that? Oh, no, Matthew Rhys. Matthew Rhys. Okay. Yeah, he was on some show and I didn't like. I'm trying to figure out what it was where I was just not into it. I don't know. Oh, he was on Brothers and Sisters. He was okay on Brothers and Sisters. I don't know where it was that he and I parted ways. But at some point we parted ways. Mary likes him. Oh my gosh. Mary, quite contrary. Well, with a last name like Reese, he'd have to be, right? What else could he be? Oh, the Tudors. That must have been it because I dislike so many people involved with the Tudors. Like, even the main guy, I can hardly stand him. The Tudors ruined a lot of actors for me. That's probably it, Kimberly. Thank you. Thank you. Because, yeah. Oh. Mm-mm. No, thank you. I wrote my thesis on Wales, the country of Wales. So, I got pretty used to Welsh names and Welsh spellings. I mean, not on, the entire history of the country of Wales, on one extremely narrow aspect of it, like every thesis is, some like really tiny thing that you're going to write about for 200 pages. But because I was in a liberal arts major, um, whenever I would say, people would ask me what my thesis was on, and I would say Wales, and they would just look at me like totally confused and say, "Aren't you a history major?" And then I'd have to say, um, "Yeah, it's also a country. It's not just like a big fish." So, well, he's a Welsh nationalist. Well, a lot of my thesis focused on kind of the dissolution of Wales as a country, so I have a lot of sympathy for that point of view. Wales does have history, but people, I think, just they hear Wales and they think like Wales, like humpback whales. They just never thought of Wales like as a country. Well, my grandfather was Welsh, so, um, like I said, I have a lot of sympathy for that point of view. Maybe I'll forgive him for being in the Tudors and watch Perry Mason out of Welsh solidarity. Yeah, give him another chance. The Tudors drove me completely and totally crazy to watch from a historical point of view too, and I finally just was like, well, if I just pretend it's a show about a fictional person named Henry VIII, maybe I can get through it. So maybe somehow I can make it through this show. From the fictional country of Britland or something. I'm trying to see if I have any of that tree paper with the little tiny trees on it. Because see how I have this little row of trees? But I think I must have used it all or something. Because I don't see it anywhere. Mary says, I don't like this Perry Mason, so you'll probably love it. It's going to be my new favorite show. Like, once again, Mary has terrible taste. Terrible taste. Mary, you better go to Facebook and cast your vote for Baseball Moby Dick because it's not winning. Oh, see, here's the tiny trees. Kimberly, if you were entertained by it, I'm happy for you. Anytime someone watches something and they like it, I'm happy for them. Because that means that they didn't waste their time. I don't begrudge anyone liking stuff that I didn't like. The baseball book is not winning, no, Fran. I think the Moby Dick part is scaring people. You can vote for more than one book, but you can't vote for a book more than once. I often will vote for two if there's one book that I'm like, I really don't want to read that book. You know, I'll vote for the other two. I do that pretty frequently. It definitely was messy history-wise. Yeah, like if you can let that go, you know, I can see how it could be kind of soapy and fun, but I could not let it go. I just could not let it go. And then, like, so many people were just so sleazy. And I just really struggle where everyone's kind of gross. Gretchen says it's the baseball part I have no interest in. I love baseball books. That's so funny. Do I love baseball? No. No, I do not. But baseball books? Sure. Because, you know, baseball books take out all the boring parts of baseball, which is like 90% of baseball. So now Mary's going to, like, leap through the screen and strangle me. My boss, back when I worked in DC, had season tickets to the Nats, and he would take me sometimes. And I would just sit there like, what is the point of this? and I was like, nothing is happening. And he said, well, the point is you sit here and you drink a beer and you think about statistics and you wait for the one or two exciting things, like once in a lifetime exciting things that happen. And I was like, but why would you do that? Why would you do that? Gretchen says, I also hate statistics and beer. And Gretchen, I'm not surprised that as someone who also doesn't care for statistics or beer, that I don't love baseball. So Mary's like, she's like, how did we ever get along and have a conversation? It's funny. Oh my gosh. Okay. Because, you know, yes, well that's the thing. Mary said that, you know, she learned all the strategy and you know, how to put which players where and all of that. Yeah. So like, for example, you know, I've been to baseball games where people like really look at the lineup and they have opinions about the lineup and they score the game and all of that. And meanwhile, I'm just like, like, I'm getting a sunburn. It's really hot. What are we doing? You know? But a book about baseball where someone is just explaining all of that to me and creating a narrative around it, fine. Love it. Wonderful. Best sport to write about or make movies about, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. There we go. We're making progress. The stack is getting smaller. We're over halfway through. No, we're exactly halfway through. No, we're over halfway through. That was the 7th one we just did. This is the 8th. Well, Field of Dreams is not as much of a baseball movie as it's like a baseball fan movie and a grief movie. What happened to the plaid? Did I miss an entire POUCH-A-LOPE? You might have. You might have. That looks cute. So now we just need something to go here. Let's use the music notes. Sure. The Natural. What about The Natural? That's a good baseball movie. And Moneyball. Moneyball's a great baseball movie too. There's lots of good baseball movies. You just pointed to that paper? Isn't that great? Oh, Bull Durham. That Lou Gehrig movie with Gary Cooper, is that just called The Lou Gehrig Story? The Natural is a great movie. Moneyball is also a great movie. Angels in the Outfield I remember liking, but like I haven't seen it in a long time. And I wonder if it would be like a Mighty Ducks experience. We recently watched the Mighty Ducks just on a whim because intern Liz wanted to watch a feel-good movie, and it was not a good movie. Oh no, it was not. Mm-mm. Bad News Bears is a great baseball movie. The Sandlot, yes. Now we're just like talking about baseball movies. Look, I don't care about baseball, but baseball movies are good, and so are books about baseball. So if you're afraid of the art of fielding because of the baseball aspect, you probably don't need to be afraid of it. Unless you've already read baseball books and you don't like reading baseball books. But baseball books are not as boring as baseball. And now everyone who likes baseball is like, baseball's not boring. You just don't understand the complexity of the game. There's so much more going on than just what you see on the field. Jill says it's a giant chess game. I believe you, Jill. I also don't particularly watch competitive chess, though. Not gonna lie. So maybe whatever's going on with baseball and whatever's going on with chess just doesn't compute with my brain. I'm willing to accept that. Chess is awesome. The other day, I don't know, I had somehow gotten like ahead of Mr. Lifeguard on something, and he was like, I'm over here playing checkers and you're playing 4D chess. And he's like, or wait, like what would be harder than 4D chess? And I was like, 4D Go. And he was like, how would you even do that? I'm like, I don't think you can. Just think about the physics of baseball. I literally just got done telling you this afternoon that I don't like physics either. I don't want anyone throwing 90-mile-an-hour things at my face. So, no thanks. I'm willing to concede that baseball players are elite athletes. I'm not, doesn't mean I'm going to watch them. I also don't watch football, so don't take it personally, baseball fans. I don't care about the other sports balls either. All right. I'm going to do the post-its, and then we'll do the stars down at the bottom. Book club is the best class. Book club is so contentious. It started off so friendly. When did you all turn on me? You all secretly loved Footprints in the Sand. That must have been it. That must have been it. No, you're not willing to concede to having been secret fans of Footprints in the Sand. I know it's the pro baseball glitter gang and The anti-baseball glitter gang. Would rather read Footprints in the Sand than watch baseball. Fighting words. Mary is going to get you. Mary is going to come after you. Watch out. Judy says that we just chose poorly because the other two flip-flop books were great. Yeah, and like I said, if you are curious about whether or not the other two July books were worth reading, I gave one of them 3 stars, The Things You Save in a Fire, and then I gave Gods of Jade and Shadow 4 stars. So, and I do think it's worth picking up if it sounds at all interesting to you. Basically, it's a thriller where one of the characters is the Mexican god, or a Mayan god of death, and the other one is a girl who doesn't fit in with her family, and it's set in the 1920s, all over Mexico, from the Yucatan Peninsula to like El Paso. So Fran. No throwing stones. There you go. I remember one time I'll tell you a baseball story. So back when I worked, I was responsible for doing the budget of my office every year. And I always worked really hard on it because my goal was to not have to fight over the money. Like, it was to justify everything so that when I went to the meeting with the comptroller and the CFO and the COO, I would, not have to have like a big dramatic upsetting fight or whatever. And so one year I get in there and they made all the managers like line up in a hallway, and they were seeing us in like 10-15 minute like chunks. So we all had to just stand in the hallway because, their time was so important and our time didn't matter. So I get in there and it's the comptroller, CFO, COO, and I sit down and the COO says, so in regards to your budget, you had a math error in calculating your employee's retirement, which the comptroller fixed for you. Other than that, everything's approved, no changes. And I was like, oh, great. And so I started to stand up, and he said, but we're going to need you to sit there for 10 minutes so that no one in the hallway thinks we approved your budget without discussion. And then they started talking and asking me about baseball because my boss was like obsessed with baseball and had season tickets and went to games all the time, and he gave them tickets a lot. So they had all seen games with him. And I was just like, kill me, just kill me. I was like, no, don't make me talk about baseball. No. So that was that. Like, no, please, no. Please, no. So, yep. So that was that experience. I know, they're like, we're taking away $1 million because you don't know anything about baseball. So, no. They probably did that so you'd look upset when you left. Start crying. Start crying. Oh my gosh. But there's no crying in baseball. Another great baseball movie. This year the company party will be a baseball game. Gretchen's willing to concede that A League of Their Own is a great baseball movie. We found one that Gretchen's willing to concede. But yeah. So that was another one of my experiences where I was just like, now what they should have done if they'd been thinking about it is that particular conference room had 2 exits, and it had one door that you could only go in and out of if you had a certain level of access. You know, they should have just had everyone go out the back door, you know, so that we wouldn't see each other's faces. If Bill Murray had done a baseball movie. I watched Dave Chappelle's Mark Twain thing last night. And someone made a Rodney Dangerfield joke. And it was something like, comedians lie all the time. Like, turns out a lot of people respected Rodney Dangerfield. And so, I don't know why Bill Murray reminded me of that. Probably because I thought of Caddyshack, and then because I thought of Caddyshack, I thought of Rodney Dangerfield. Gretchen says, do I dare say I'm not a Bill Murray fan? Oh, Gretchen, you better watch out. Fran's brain might explode. Oh, remind me at the end of it to tell you if you want to make this a shaker. I had an idea for how to do it easy peasy. Once I'm done, because I'm not going to actually demo one because I don't want to make another envelope, but I will walk you through the process because I think you can do it pretty easily. Okay. So, oof, ow, 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 ow. Okay. Let's do these up here. And then down here, let's do, should we do numbers? We'll do numbers. The trees, we can do the trees if you want. It's a little bit weird because it's so light compared to this is so heavy. So it seems a little off balance. Like it'd be better if the trees were at the top and the stars were at the bottom, but I don't have a piece of trees big enough. I don't know what I want. I don't really want these stars that much. Is this all the paper you have left? Well, I mean, no, but I'm trying to use my scraps. You know, I like to use scraps. But I did just notice I have this paper and it's pretty cute. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. All right, so I'm going to put the musical notes up there, and then I'm going to use this little crafty splatter down here. All right. What's my perfect corner sitting on? It's sitting on a stack of tapes. So it's just the center of all the tapes. You two could go fight over who's the best doctor. You could do 12 rounds over that. Wouldn't it be great if there was a crafting easy button and you could just like press it and all of your things, your papers would be inked or something? That would be nice. I would appreciate that. All right, gluing stuff. Just one more after this, and then I'll walk you through the how I would do a shaker box. Because it's easy. Do Gretchen and Fran like the same doctor? Oh dear. What is shaker material called? Acetate? Jill, the secret to that is having 2 desks. And then what you do is you put all your trash on your other desk. Oh, the filling? You can use whatever you want. I have seen people use glitter. I've seen people use seed beads. I've seen people use sequins. I've seen people use die cuts. That's mostly. Jill says, but then I'd have to get up. So I think it's just, you know, a lot of people just go to the craft store and look around and see what they think is cute that matches the theme of their book. Last one. It's the last one. I'm going to use the black swirl. Maybe. No, I'm going to use this, whatever this is. Oh no, they're having who's the best doctor. Now we've done it. Now we've done it. Yeah, that's better. Time to chomp. And gathered twigs. Okay. Last one. So exciting. We made it. We made it to the end of the matting, which is not the end of the project, so I don't know why I got excited. I like gathered twigs a lot too. It's a good one. All right. We're at the finish line. Okay. Last thing to glue down, and then I'll walk you through a shaker. And then I think I guess we will pick up next week with decorating. And we'll go, I'll cut out all the embellishments from the collection between now and the next show, so that I just have a nice bag of embellishments, and then we'll just go through and put embellishments all over. Okay, dokes. So I will close this up and I'll walk you through how to do a shaker box. It's really simple. Okay. I thought of it in my brain, so, you know, it's going to be good. All right. So to get a shaker, what you need is you need to make this minus the flaps. All right. So you'll just cut an 8 7/8 inch by 6 1/2 inch rectangle. I'm going to walk you through some of the steps here. All right, so 8 7/8 by 6 1/2. All right, then once you have 8 7/8 by 6 1/2, you're just going to cut, you want to cut a 1/2 inch in all the way around. So you're going to cut from 8 and, or starting at this position, cut from 6 up to 1/2 inch. Okay. Then put it at 1/2 inch. Cut up to 1/2 inch. Cut from the line up to 1/2 inch. Put it at 1/2 inch. Cut up from the line to 1/2 inch. One more turn. Cut from the line up to 1/2 inch. Okay, then I have a couple little areas where it's still connected. I'm just gonna pull them out. Okay, then flip it over to the back. Okay. And you're gonna put tape on all 4 sides. All right. And this tape doesn't have to go all the way to the edges. All right. This is what we're going to do now. peel this tape backing. Okay. Then get one of your transparencies or your acetate, whatever you use for your shakers. Okay. And lay it down on top of this piece. All right. And then cut all the way around it. All right. So now what you have is you have a frame with acetate. All right. Just so you know where we're going with this, eventually what you're going to do is you're going to set it down over this. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our foam tape. All right. And you're going to go on the back all the way around to make your frame for all your little things you're going to stick inside. Okay. And you don't want any gaps because you don't want any of your pieces to escape. Raven recommended this one to me, Fran. I wish I could remember. All right, then once you're at this point, you fill it with all its stuff. Okay, whatever you want to put in it, you put in it. All right. Then you'll peel the back off, and then you'll set this down on top of it like so. And then when you pick it up, it will be a shaker. And everything, and it will still be a pouch, as you can see. It will only be a shaker in this front part. All right. Does that make sense? So if you want to, so it's cardstock on the front, and use whatever color cardstock you used to make the envelope. That way they'll blend in with each other. All right. No, this tape isn't sticky on the side. This particular tape isn't sticky on this edge. So, yeah, so once you've got your cardstock on the front, then acetate, then foam, then put it down, fill it with whatever you want to fill it with, peel the tape back, and then just set this on top of it. You know, line up the corners, and because they're the same cardstock, if they're not perfect, it's not going to matter because they'll blend in with each other. And then when you pick it up, this will be a shaker. And by adding the shaker this way, then you can make them some shaker, some not shaker, all shaker, no shaker. You know, you don't have to make any changes to the actual POUCH-A-LOPE in order to make a shaker on the front. So for those of you that wanted to know how to make shaker POUCH-A-LOPEs, that's how you make shaker POUCH-A-LOPEs, okay? All right, so that's it. So now you know how to make shaker POUCH-A-LOPEs. And you know, I'm gonna actually, I'll cut the end of this off so that, and make it its own thing, so that there'll be a separate video on how to add a shaker in the archives. So yeah, if you want to put like clear crystal beads and little snowflake sequins and things like that to make it look more wintry and frosty, I think that's a fun idea. This is a way you can add a shaker at any point in the process. So you can, so this is, it's simple. It's not hard at all. Anything you want to throw in there, you can. After you've made them, you know, you don't have to make them with a shaker in mind. If you want to add shakers later, you can add shakers later. So, all right. So thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you in the next video, which will be next Thursday. I'll be back at 2 p.m. Eastern USA time to do the decorating. So I'll have all the embellishments prepped and ready to go. We'll do all the decorating, and then the last thing is we'll be working on the box that will hold them all. So thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.